Welcome to Impact Farming, where we introduce you to the people and ideas that will have a massive impact on your farming operation. Brought to you by Farm Marketer. Sit down, start the engine, and let's roll with today's show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Impact Farming Show. Today, we have an amazing guest with us. We have Darcy Lang. Welcome to the show, Darcy.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to have you joining us. If you guys have not heard Darcy speak or read her books, you guys are in for a treat. Let me tell you a little bit about Darcy. She is inspirational speaker, award-winning entrepreneur. She is a Canadian Association of Professional Speakers Hall of Fame recipient. That's a mouthful.
Right.
She is best-selling author. She's a wife and mom, and she is the author of the book we're going to speak about today, Focus on the 90%, and the follow-up book, Live in the 90%. So I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Darcy, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. And Tracy, we should add that I'm married to a nice, handsome farm boy.
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
Right? So we should mention that, because shouldn't every woman marry a nice, handsome farm boy?
I married one myself, so I must be pretty partial.
Absolutely.
And I think that's going to resonate with all the farm boys and farm women in the audience.
Totally. Right.
Glad you added that. So, Darcy, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, if you want to add anything to that, and then dive right into the book and share a little bit about what it's all about?
Okay, great. And I didn't know if you were going to mention both, so you're right. I'll just show, because I know you'll have visuals later, but I have Focus on the 90% and then Living the 90%. So part one and part two, basically. And Focus on the 90%, well, that's 7th edition, I'm proud to say. So I've been working with that book. Living the 90% again, part two. I just finished writing my 3rd book called Lead the 90%, my leadership book. And then I have a woman's book coming out this winter called Embrace the 90%. So it's a little, I'm hoping for it to be a little chicken soup for the soul. You know how Jack Canfield wrote one book for Chicken Soup for the Soul, and then he wrote one for nurses and for doctors and for farmers and dog owners. That's what I want this series of Focus on the 90% books to be, you know, something for everybody.
Clever.
Sorry.
I'm going to put a request in. Focus on the 90% for farmers.
Right.
What we're going to talk about today.
Farm the 90%.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
There you go. Perfect. So yeah, I'm very blessed. So it's my 27th year as a motivational, inspirational speaker. So a lot of times speakers have a book as a natural part to sell at the back of the room. So that is why I wrote the book initially, is because people would leave the seminar saying, I want more. I want to take the message home to my family, to my staff. So of course, most of us write a book for that purpose. But I'm just so blessed with content, and this COVID time has certainly given me time to write other books. So that's the base of the message.
I believe it. You know, we've got to find the blessings in this COVID situation, right?
Absolutely. And that's what Focus on the 90% is I always call it one more tool for your personal and professional toolbox, because we go to these seminars and we get a lot of information, and farmers are subject to so many suppliers bringing in speakers like us. But my challenge is always, did it work? You know, did you leave the seminar, did you leave the conference with a tool that you could use? Because I think we get overwhelmed with ways, habits, and ideas on how to make the farm better. But Focus on the 90% is one idea that we all hold this big imaginary magnifying glass out in front of us in our lives, and we have a choice what we focus it on. And I call the 90% the positive aspects of our life, that what is great on the farm, you know, how do we treat our staff, how do we treat our families? And so that one simple message is what people will take home. One more tool for the toolbox.
I love it. And, you know, when I was reading some of your material and listening to an interview that you did, I was thinking about it. I'm like, focus on the 90%. And I once heard that as humans, we have a negative bias. So naturally, we tend to focus on the negative. And then as I was getting ready for this interview, I found myself, and I like to think I'm very positive, I found myself going to the one negative detail in my life at the point. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Darcy says I need to focus on the 80% that's good. And I started going through all the blessings in my life. I'm like, how is it that we naturally hone in on the one thing that's bothering us when we have so many blessings?
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. And the brain is naturally, I do a lot of research on the brain and research on why some people are happy, some people are not. And the brain is literally trained to see the negative. It goes back to fight and flight, right? So I believe very strongly that we can train the brain to see positive. And it's Tracy doing exactly what you did today. Waking up and saying, I know what isn't good. And again, I come from a very huge family. My husband has a huge family. We have 31 sets of aunts and uncles on the farm. So we know, we come from agriculture and we know that it's hard. And there are 10% and markets and yields and pricing and weather and the economy and COVID. And of course they're real. But if that's all you wake up and see, then you get really old and tired, right? So to move our magnifying glass from the 10%, and a lot of them, Tracy, are things we knew were going to happen in our business. You knew you have cattle, you know the 10% that cattle brings.
Yes.
But being a farmer is one of the best jobs in the world. Like it's purposeful, it's meaningful. You're feeding the world. You get to watch sunsets and sunrises and hear meadowlarks and crickets and raise your families and touch dirt you own and own acres of land. And some of my farm families live on land that looks like a provincial park. So there's countries that don't own homes, apartments, nothing. The thought that they could own pieces of land like you do, that's what I'm out in the world to do, to create a mission on, I get it. I know we have 10%. My life is full of 10%. You're going to read all about them. But the powerful ability to wake up and say, I know, but what is good? What am I grateful for? What do I love about this farm? Tell yourself, start to train the brain to see it. It metaphysically changes you. And then the people around you that work for you in your farm, your farm hands, your family around you, they get to work with somebody who's happy to be there, because we all work for somebody who isn't happy to be there. And then that goes home, which is literally crossing the yard for many of you. But then how are we at our dinner tables? And what if we taught the next generation about what farming means to you and what it's done to you and how proud and grateful you are? So you can see I'm a little passionate about that, Tracy.
I love it. And you're just so right. It's what we focus on. And I love your magnifying glass. I might even buy myself one and put it somewhere. I'm a big quote person. So perfect. I might even print out a magnifying glass to just remind myself. I like the visual prompts because it's just what we focus on, right? I have so much to send you. I will send you all that you're asking for, because you get a magnifying glass when you order my book. And I encourage people to put it in the truck, put it up in the barn, put it on the fridge, because it's easy to slip to the negative. It's human nature. But my goal in life is to change the nature. Why is it human nature when we have so much that's good? It is. It's unbelievable. I got to give you an example that just totally rings true to what you're saying. And please. I think I've given it one time on the show before, but I live out on a farm, very fortunate. Everything you just said, amazing. I think we take it for granted. I know I do. So one day after work, I had to go out and do some fencing for my horse. I didn't have the best attitude that day. So I'm out there, I'm doing my horse stuff, a little bit on the grumpy side because the list was a mile long of things I had to do, right? Then all of a sudden I pick my head up from fencing and I look around. It was a stunning day. The green, the field, my cattle were out over here. And I'm getting chills thinking about that moment. Yeah, so, me too. Wait a minute. What am I grumpy about? All my blessings that I have a fence for the horse that I always dreamed of having. Oh my goodness, I'm getting emotional, right? It's so funny when you just actually stop and break that pattern and then just go, whoa, blessings. Okay.
Oh.
Thank you. Yeah.
Amen. And again, you're healthy enough. Like if we're talking COVID, which I'm tired of talking COVID, but if we're talking, you're healthy enough to be here on this interview. Your viewers, your readers, they're here with us today. The farm is upright. Like I get it. Life is real, Tracy. I'm a motivational speaker, but I don't gloss over the fact that this is hard. And I've watched my farm families struggle in years with mentally, physically, spiritually, intellectually, financially. I understand that their problems are real. I'm not glossing over that. But we all have 10%. And again, if that's all we see, it starts to impact you in such a powerful way. But I believe, Tracy, so does the positive. If you start to wake up and say, I get it, but what is good? It will change you. It will. And people need to be around happy people. It's very important.
Amen. Why don't we dive right in? You told us about the book. I know you have a 3-part framework or 3 areas of life that you like people to look at. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. Because I believe we're talking farmers, I believe that the farmer is the whole person. Though I'm sure some of my uncles would disagree. No, I'm just a farmer. But when I speak, I like to focus on what are you focusing on, the 90% or the 10%. I like to challenge people first and foremost, what are you focusing on with the person in the mirror? Because again, nothing in your life will change if you do not change the person that stares back at you. Trust me, I know. So I like to challenge people, where are they at? Where is their language? How are they feeling? Again, mentally, physically, spiritually, if that's their thing. How are we showing up? Because I've been a motivational speaker for 27 years. And I'll tell you, when my entrepreneurial friends say to me, my staff are not happy, I say to them, are you? Are you showing up the version of what you want the people around you to be? Because I know a lot, in my leadership book, I've met a lot of people who are trying to lead others from a place of depletion, and they're expecting others to be the same, to be better and different than them. And if you've raised teenagers, which I have and survived, you'll learn you better damn well be what you're asking them to be. Because I have no street cred at my dinner table with my teenage daughter if I do not ask her to be something that I am. So that's very important to me, that people look in the mirror and get their mindset, get themselves in a positive, happy place, which again, Tracy, I don't want to give a full seminar here today, but there's many layers to which we do that. How are we showing up in the world? I have a very strong 3 times complain rule. And the 3 times complain rule is, I do not personally complain about anything more than 3 times without having what I call a lay that sucker out meeting. Now, I don't lay out employees, but I lay out the problem, right? So I look at, what have I complained about more than 3 times? Because, Tracy, we all know people in our lives who complain a heck of a lot more than 3 times about the same thing. And it is exhausting to be around complaining people. So I'm all about complaining. I really am. Again, you're going to hear about my meaty past and all the challenges I've had in my life in the books. But I'll tell you that 3 times complain has changed my life. Complain 3 times. Process how you feel. Honor how you feel. This has worked very well during COVID right now. It's real. This is real. I'm not glossing over it. But complain 3 times, and then that's it. And so I will complain 3 times to, say, my group of friends. And then on the 4th time, I say, I'm done. I'm done. Thank you for letting me get some air on it. I'll use your words. Thanks for getting the stink off of this problem. But now we're done talking about it. So let's lay this problem out on the table. Let's literally look at what I'm complaining about. And then I look for a solution. What can I do to change it? Because often, Tracy, the things that my agricultural friends complain about, they have no control over. So complaining about the things we have that we don't like, but then the things we have no control over, that's like complaining about the weather, which you have no control over. And again, it's simply a habit. The farm family members that I have that complain about farming love farming. And if I said to them, you should do something else then, why would anybody stay stuck in a job that they don't like? They would look at me like I have 2 heads. Like, what? I love this. I love my farm. Well, then why are you complaining about it? Because it's a habit. So I look in the mirror, I say, what have I complained about more than 3 times? So that's one area, yourself. Then I challenge people to focus, where's their focus? Again, 90% or 10% within their business, the farm, their job. So I take the person, then we look at who are you in your work role? What are you focusing on there? Are we doing what you are doing with the horses and the cattle and the putting up the fence, Tracy? Are you going into your life complaining, or are we focused on the blessings? And that magnifying glass is the base of my entire leadership book. Do you take your 90% lens then, look after your own personal 10%, but then can you take that magnifying glass and see others through it? And I can tell you right now, Tracy, I know farmhands, I don't know if we say that anymore, if that's a proper term, but people that I know working on farms that rarely hear that they're good, that are rarely told thank you, that are usually, they're not usually, but a lot of the time they're with a farmer who they drive into the yard and see the one board that's there, not the other things that have been done all day to make the farm better. And I can tell you from raising my own young adults, young people will not work for somebody like that anymore. They will not. And my Lead the 90% book is the tag of my 90%, which I have here, of course, but my Lead the 90% book, this reads kind leadership. Young people today want to work for somebody who is rested, nourished, happy, and kind. Trust me. And if we don't think that's important, then you've never been led by somebody who is unkind. It's not fun. And it affects people's quality of life. So I take my magnifying glass, I look at me, what do I need to do to be happy? Then I take my magnifying glass to the people that work with me and around me in my workplace. And again, I've been blessed with the same admin assistant working beside me for 27 years. Wow. So I ask, what is good with them? What is the positives? What am I grateful for? And have I told them that lately? Because we forget, we get so bogged down in the work, we forget about the humans. You know, maybe you're more concerned about the 4-legged, right? But we got to be concerned about the 2-legged, and we've got to make sure that they know you're grateful for them too, that you see them as a blessing on your farm. When's the last time you thanked them? Oh, we don't do that. I suggest we start doing that, because not only is it affecting the quality of life, it's affecting the self-esteem of people and how you send them home. And I take that very seriously, Tracy, because the world needs to work for kinder people. And then I take my magnifying glass home. Who are we in our family? What if I asked your family if they think you like farming? What if I sat down with the people that you love and your friends and family? I know family's different for everybody, but what if I sat down with what you consider to be family and the people around you, and if I asked them, do they think that Tracy likes farming? What would they say? Because what's the story that you tell out in your community? What's the story that you tell when you run into people at co-op and credit union? What words are we using? I'm a billboard for what I do, Tracy. We motivational speakers are not banging on the glass at the hockey game and yelling at a co-op cashier, right? We're not some unhinged weirdos in our city. We have to be who we say we are. We all do. And if we want farming to be something that people are attracted to doing, and succession, we want people to stay, did we make it look good? And have we gone into our communities proud of what we do, being proud of the fact that you're feeding that community? I take very seriously that, but then what are we doing at our dinner tables? What is the story that we tell when we sit down at the dinner table? And, you know, again, for many of you, that's from the tractor to the yard. I get that. But what story do we tell the people that we love? So that's why I like to break it down into our different roles, because it's not just one person. All our lives are woven with all those relationships. Sorry, that was a long answer, but there you go.
I love it. And that is so perfect, because if you are happy in work, but not at home, nice at work, but not at home, it all intermingles for a happy life, right?
Especially on the farm. Like for many of you, your home is your work, is your one table, is the table. And again, it's about choice, because anyway, I'm giving you a seminar, but I am very excited.
I love it. I sometimes wonder how much of what we as people say are just trained habits and filler conversation. Because if you're at there's only so many things to talk. There's a lot of things to talk about in life, but often we get together it's the same number of things we talk about with our groups of friends or family. And for lack of not saying anything, do we often just go into a narrative of complaint as a filler? I wonder.
Yeah, I call it our default, right? And again, I'm sorry I keep bringing this up, but I feel like this time in the world where we're dealing with a lot of 10%, I feel that this time in the world reveals our true self, Tracy, and our true default on how do we deal with stress. Because could we imagine a more stressful 10% time in the world than right now? But how have we dealt with that? What has been our go-to? What has been our self-sabotage? What has our language been like? What did we, how did we protect ourselves from this immense negativity? Agreed. It is our default. It's kind of sexy and interesting to complain, right? It's kind of boring to always be happy all the time, trust me. And I understand that. But then you feel kind of yucky after you've left that situation. Like everybody feels like, why do we do that? And Tracy, I have researched that for my entire life. And so much of it is what we learned at our dinner table. So much of it is, agreed? Do you want to add, please? I'm doing all the talking. Go ahead, please. Yeah, so much of it is what we learned to be normal behavior. But that's an old story. And like I'm 51 years old, but I am not telling old stories. And I could tell old stories. But I would really dissect, spend some time, because you have these beautiful places to walk and sit on combines right now, and spend time on why do I do that? Where did I learn that was normal behavior? Because it's never too late to do it better and different. And we have a profound opportunity to become where we came from or the opposite of where we came from. And if you've made it right. And for some of us, that took a long time to be able to undo the patterning of where we come from. I don't want to be a complaining person. I want to be happy. So what choice am I going to make to stop telling old stories and be a cog in the wheel? Be something better and different. So we sit at our dinner table and we don't sound like them. Now we have a choice with our own families to teach them a new and better way. So that's what I think, Tracy. We think it's normal because everyone around us is doing it. Can you change people? I'm not sure. I've tried, but I know you can strongly positively influence them by the billboard that you're wearing and show them that by being happier is better for us.
I found how we show up, exactly like you said, is completely contagious. When I show up as a boss, and sometimes you show up and you're not in a good mood for whatever reason. Sure. We're learning, we're growing, we're improving. Again, I'm positive and I try and be happy and set a great example. But some days, once in a while, you just show up. And man, did I learn in a quick hurry. Not that I was sour or angry or mean. I'd never be any of that. But there's an energy that comes off a person and people read it, right? And when I walk in the door and if I wasn't at my best, that would just spread through our company like that. Same with my relationship at home. If I show up a grump, well, guess how the rest of the evening goes, right?
Absolutely. I say I'm a grounding force in my company, but I am a grounding force in my family too. And how I show up is exactly that. And we have a choice, right? And Tracy, I have a doorknob theory. And this serves me so well. I have been, as I said, I've been doing this for almost 3 decades, and I'm gone every week. So a day or two, I deliver this message. Normally in a normal world, I would deliver this message 2 or 3 cities a week in spring and fall. And like you, seeding and harvest, I call it. So I'm very busy in spring and fall. And I'm gone minimum 2 days a week. So that's a lot of time to be away from a family. I have the most spectacular husband in the world who has always just dug in and did things around the house. So of course he does it different and definitely not as good as I do it, right? And I had to let go of a lot of my ability to see that the 90% because the 10%, I had to let go of always seeing the 10. And I decided I needed to do something because I can come in guns a-blazing. I like everything a certain way. And then I start seeing what isn't done, right? I'm looking at the dish in the sink, back in the days when the children were younger, back on the floor, rotting lunch kits, etc. And I would come in from the road and start complaining. And my family saying, I'm quite the motivational speaker. So I thought, okay, this is not working. So I complained 3 times. I laid that sucker out, and I thought, what does Darcy need to do to change this? Because I'm not about to change the people. It's not about changing the people. Everybody wants everyone else to change. Nothing, again, in your life will change if you don't change you first. Nothing. Haven't we all tried? Haven't we all tried to change other people? That never went well. So I have a doorknob theory, Tracy, and the doorknob theory is I put my hand on the door, and I literally will not go in the house until I'm positive. So rather than flying and driving home and thinking about the 10%, because I can absolutely map out my house when I get home, I think about my 90%. Back to the blessings. I have a husband who thinks it's super cool to hang out with his kids every week. I have a beautiful home. I have, like you, I have my health. I have my family's health. All you got to do is go to hell and back enough times as I have to know that every day is awesome. And then I put my hand on the door and I don't commit until I'm positive. And sometimes I'm outside for like a half an hour, right? Getting happy.
Do you have a little bench outside for those hard days?
I should. Or a tap, one or the other. But I sit at the door, and Tracy, I literally will not come in until I'm positive. I won't. And because here's the way I look at it. I would never be rude to you either. I'm like you, Tracy. You'll never see me in a bad mood in public. Are you kidding me? I am 100% this woman everywhere I go. So where does she go? What happens to her? The woman who could just speak to 500 people, entertain for hours and meet them after and kiss babies and sign books. And then all of a sudden, she morphs into this totally different human being. That's not cool. And that does not teach my family that where I went to work made me happy. And if I want my children to pick something that makes them happy, because isn't that all that you want for your nieces, nephews, isn't that all that we want for our children, is for them to pick something that made them happy? But did we show them or did we tell them? And I want to come in joyful. And of course, like you, I make mistakes. Of course I do. I'm not perfect, but I make sure that I don't make that same mistake more than 3 times without changing me. Because this is not the legacy I want to leave in the minds of my children.
Ooh, that is gold, girl. That is gold.
Right, and I love that doorknob. And my girlfriend said, you should write a book called Dealing with the Doorknobs at Work and the Doorknobs at Home. That'll be my next book, Lead the Doorknobs.
You do have a big chicken soup for the soul series going on.
I do.
The 90% on everything.
You know it.
I love it. So we touched on this a little bit, but I want you to go here in more depth.
Sure.
You mentioned in one of the presentations I was watching you do about 2 people can be in the exact same situation and handle it completely different. Can you talk on that a little bit? Because I think it's powerful. Sure.
So you're saying there's 2 different people, same situation. One is happy, one is not.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And don't we see that? Don't you see the farmer with the exact same land, machinery, and animal number? That farmer is happy, blessed, grateful, wonderful to the community, a wonderful family person, just stellar community member, right?
Yes.
Then you see the same farmer, right? Sorry, I cut you off. You see the same farmer, exact same equipment, animals, amount of land, everything, not happy. Mental health is a very big thing in our home, and my husband is a motivational speaker too. Yes, they call us Oprah and Dr. Phil. And our children usually sit down and say, before we start eating, is there going to be a speech here? Yeah, probably. But my husband has had a depression journey. So, I mean, he has a book too. He has a book, Staying Up in an Upside Down World, and shares his depression journey. But that's a whole other, you can do an interview with him another time. But yeah. Darren, so mental health is I'm very sensitive to mental health. So the first thing I want to rule out is, are you not happy? Are you genuinely not happy? So I like to get that right out of the way, because that's very real, Tracy, as you and I know. That's a very real problem. So there's one thing about putting your 90% magnifying glass in front of you, but some people literally cannot see the 90%. They literally chemically cannot find them to move them over. So I first want to rule out mental health. So let's assume that mental health is good. Assume, to me, that's really important that we talk about the base. So we'll assume that's good. So what is the difference between we'll use your world, farmer who's happy and farmer who's unhappy? Choice. And I believe strongly that what they focus on ripples out. Because again, if all you see is the stress, the hardship, the negativity, it will affect you and your mental and physical health. That will ripple to your workers, the people who work with your staff, your team, those that work with you will feel it, as Tracy, you've already alluded to. They know when you've had a bad day. That will then ripple to the family. So the difference is the choice on, I truly believe that, the choice on what they focus on, the story they tell, the words that they use, and the desire to want to be happy. Because I don't care what you make, I don't care how much land you own, all I care is, are you happy? Because life goes by very quickly. Did you create the life that you want? And if not, what can you do better and different? Because it's unique to me, Tracy, that some of the happiest farmers I met, and again, I love many of them, some of the happiest farmers that I've met have absolutely been to hell and back, have had the worst farming years, have had their crops wiped right out, their animals, you probably lived through all that goes with animals and disease and everything else, but yet farmers have, and I get a lot of kickback on this, but farmers have the absolute best attitudes. Do you know why? Because they say every year, what do they say? Next year will be better.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So and though some may think that sometimes farmers aren't as positive as they could be, they genuinely are a group of human beings who can fail miserably and get up the next year and say, we're going to do it again and it's going to be better. I'm telling you, Tracy, if my husband's business failed 3 times in a row, I'd say, you're done, buddy. You're done. My aunts are getting jobs off the farm and my uncle's getting jobs off the farm to pay for the farm. Like, they just stay because they love it. So let's stop, make a choice. Do you want to be the farmer who's known to the people that work with you and in your community and to the people that you love as somebody who chose something that made them happy? Or do you want to be that other person? Right? Yeah. That's it. It's not that easy. It is that easy. So that's what I think the difference is. Choice, perspective, outlook, the words they use, and the choice they made to leave that legacy.
I love it. You know, I love psychology. I absolutely do. And I sometimes wish we could just like operate on the brain and take away the negativity and the fear and those crazy parts that we need that are designed to keep us safe. But it keeps us on our toes every day if we want to be at the top of our mental game, right?
It does. So I've had to learn to ground that, to bring that whole spinning thoughts, because I am right brain meets left brain. I live in a very real family with a very real challenge. You'll read all about them, but I have choice, Tracy. If I stay stuck and locked on the 10%, it will take over my entire life. The accept what is. I live my serenity. God, Buddha, universe, creator, spirit, whatever your thing is. God got me the serenity, the peace to accept what I can, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Right? So let's look at that and say, what can I control here? What you can't control the majority of things on the farm. So why are we talking about them all the time? Talk more about your blessings. I believe, Tracy, we don't have to cut our brain out to take it out. We have to rewire it. And our thoughts will, I guarantee you, they will rewire it. But it's going to take time. If you train the body, if I asked you to be in a marathon with me, we wouldn't go run tomorrow in the marathon. We'd spend time. Training the brain is the same as training the body. It takes time and daily commitment and desire. You have to desire to be in a marathon. You certainly have to desire to want to be happier.
I have a daily practice. Every morning I listen to different audio. I have a few of my favorites, depending what's coming up and what I'm about to head into. I have my audio programs that I put on to condition my brain for the day, right? Because if I start the day with news, I try not to watch news, to be honest. If I start the day with news, there's a different tone to my day. So I try and wire my brain, train my brain, condition my brain from the start with positive.
Oh, we would be best friends. I haven't read the paper, watched the news my entire adult life. I have no control over what is happening there. What do I need to, I call it feed me first, Tracy. Like I I'll back that news thought up. I don't eat it, watch it, surround myself with it 90% of the time, unless it's going to make me a better human being. What are you listening to in the combine? What are you listening to in the tractor? Why wouldn't we download? You could take multi-level university courses for the amount of time you people spend on machinery, right? So why wouldn't you download things that are going to make you a human being? Google the thing that is the biggest 10% in your life right now: addiction, stress, aging parents, mental health, teenagers. Whatever your greatest stress as a human being is, Google that thing, download hours of podcasts to listen to make you a human being. You and I would be best friends, let me tell you, because that's so important to me. So I call it feed me first, and that's metaphorical for this group that we're speaking to today, but I feed me. Mentally, physically, spiritually. I look after Darcy, the woman in the mirror. And even if nobody at your dinner table, of your humble, pious dinner tables, taught you how to take care of yourself, do it anyway. That's an old story. Quit telling old stories about women who didn't show you how to do it. Just do it. Take care of yourself. So I feed me, right? Don't make everybody happy. Women don't have to give 110%. These are old programming things that everyone's tired of hearing about. So I feed me first. I look after me mentally, physically, spiritually, intellectually, socially, like you. I love psychology. I won't read it unless it's going to make me a better human being, 90% of the time. Then I can feed my family. So I feed me, then I feed my family. My family needs me, Tracy, to be, again, a grounding force. My family needs me to be a positive woman. I can't come in here guns a-blazing. And then I feed the world. And I'm finding that a lot of my farmer friends feed the world first. And they spend a lot of time feeding, metaphorically, literally, in your world, the world. And then they feed a little bit of what's left over to the family, and then maybe nothing left for them. What if we reverse that? It would change the farm. It would.
I find it's a bit of a crying shame. Exactly. If you're not the best person for yourself, you fill your own cup up. And sometimes us women, we still think it's such selfish thinking, and we got to put everybody else first. But listen, if we take care of ourselves and fill our own cup up, the cup is full to take care of everybody else. And I firmly believe that, because I know when I am tired, working too hard, coming in from a plane at 2 a.m, just
been there.
I am not, my cup is not full, and I am not the best Tracy for anybody. So I firmly believe filling the cup up, looking at the 90%. I love this. I love it.
Thank you. And I, like you, again, I have seeding and harvest that I'm very busy. There's times in the farm as well. So times in my career, exactly the same as you. You have times where you're caffing and things where it's just blotto busy. I totally understand that. But then rest and recover in other ways. What would make your family happier? When you're done harvest, when you're calving or whatever, find out it's a bit of an end for you. What do you do to celebrate then? What do you do to recover from that and let the people know around you know that you're happy, you're grateful for them, and grateful for the people who are all patient while you're on a combine till 2 a.m, right? I think that's really important.
What do you mean celebrate? Don't we just get back to work and continue?
Sure, but what's the point of all of that? Take a holiday, you farmers. Go do something fun.
I love it. I kind of led you down that path.
Perfect.
That's what I wanted you to say. So what are a few of your favorite key lessons, if we haven't already touched on them, from the book?
Yeah, I would have to rewind. You're absolutely right. We have touched on it, but it's choice. I really, it's never too late. It's never too late to do this better and different. I have watched people transform their lives by just making the choice to say, I am not as happy as I could be. What do I need to do? Choice is really the base of the focus on the 90% philosophy. It's the ability to say, I get it, but what is good? What is positive? What am I grateful for? I call it opposite affirmation. If I have a negative thought that comes into my head, like, oh, I'm so fearful, I'm worried I'm not going to have any business, because right now it's a real thing. So I'm fearful. I change that around to a positive affirmation. I let myself feel the fear. That's real. Sure. Maybe I don't have enough business right now. Then I say, I have everything that I need to make sure that I will be okay. And I immediately take that negative thought and I try to spin it to its 90%. Because again, I'm all about feeling it. I don't live in Pollyanna in some pie in the sky world. If everybody, I don't call it focus on the 100%, Tracy. It'd be goofy if you try to focus on all good all the time. That's not reality. But 90%, if you really break down your farm, 90% of it is great. It's the 10 that blows itself up to be 90. So in recapping, I would say choice, for sure, choice. The takeaways, the important beliefs that I have, 3 times complain is, I will literally run into people at the grocery store who will yell across, 3 times complain, great. That's all I want you to do, is take your life. And if it's real, like people that deal with trauma and stress and they've had terrible things in their childhood, I know that. A lot of people are very wounded. I understand that and I feel compassion. But that's an old story. And you know what? Big boys do ask for help. And again, good girls don't make everybody help. You don't have to define yourself by these fragmented 10% terrible things that happen to you. Trust me, I know firsthand. You don't have to. Get the help you need to just blow up in your life and say, this is an amazing life. I don't want to wait another day. And I think, and recapping, I think, Tracy, is just the beliefs that I want people to leave with is it's never too late to do it positive, to do it more positively and better and different. Just get going already. What are we waiting for? Life is, it's just affecting so many other people when we're not happy.
I love it. And you know, when I give examples on here, they're going to say, Tracy's a tyrant. But like you said, honestly, we're all real. We all deal with our challenges. COVID has really pushed a few buttons for many people. But,
Sure.
you know, at the end of the day, sometimes when you come out of a bad stretch or you say, change the tune, and you go, oh my gosh, I am going to die one day. I'm going to die one day, just like everybody else. And I just wasted a day, a week, whatever it was, worried about, upset about something that probably didn't even happen or something that couldn't change. And you go, wow, I'm going to die and I'm just wasting my days. Right. And again, I have to make my disclaimer. I'm a positive person, but we're all real and we all deal with challenges. But what do we focus on, right?
Absolutely. And if you think you've got it bad, everybody's allowed pity parties. Totally understand that. I think that's really important. 3 times we have a pity party. But if you really feel sorry for, and again, really out mental health, assuming that's all been dealt with, go spend time with people who have nothing. Go spend time helping a farmer who's struggling. Go spend time helping a new cattle farmer in your area. Go to their farm and say, I've been doing this for longer than you, and I want to help you. Go serve somebody else with your talents and gifts who isn't as lucky as you are. And if you have not visited a nursing home lately, I guess we haven't, but if you haven't visited a nursing home or a hospital bed of somebody, you haven't been reset lately, right? Spend time with people who have nothing or who are struggling, and you will kiss the ground for which you own when you get home. And I think my privileged, unhappy people in my life, I say, you got to go spend time with somebody who has very, very little compared to you, and it'll be a reminder to you to be grateful for what you have. I believe that.
Amen. It's so true. You know, I was going to get you to share some parting words of wisdom, but that was all just amazing. I don't know if you can, I know you can top that, but do you have anything else you want to add to and share with our audience before we wrap the interview up? Well,
I like to, I'm a walker, Tracy, and if I had lived on the land that you all lived on, I would be carving walking trails through all that land. I love walking. And every city I fly in, I always go look for the walking trail. And one of my favorite is in Saskatoon. There's right outside of the Besborough, Saskatoon, there's a beautiful Meewasin walking trail. And there's a bench. You know how people put the placard on the bench? I love reading those. And my favorite is there outside of the Besborough in Saskatoon, and it's by Leo Leclerc. And Leo Leclerc's bench reads, Leo lived like heaven was a place on earth. And I put that on Facebook, and his son, he's passed away, and his son emailed me and said, my dad lived every day like heaven was a place on earth. And I just think about that, Tracy, like what will our bench read? What will it read when we're all done this and you pack up the farm for the last time? What legacy will we have left? Did we make those choices? I could spend a day with each and every one of you hearing about your 10%, but be done that story. Find a solution to make the farm better. The most innovative, creative farmers I know have taken the worst years of their life and spun the farm around to make it a better place. So that's what I leave you with, is go live your life like you're going to live like it's heaven on earth.
I love it. Love it. You know, we could speak on this podcast probably for 2 or 3 hours.
or days.
I love this. I love your message. I love the work that you do. I just wanted to thank you on behalf of our audience.
Thank you.
Anybody wants to go grab a copy of your book or both of them, I know you sell them as sets, where can they find out more about you, connect with you, and buy books?
Sure. I would go on the website only because we offer, the books are $25 each, but we put them together as a set for $40. So they're $20 each. And then you get my awesome admin assistant, Sandra, sending them to you. And you get a magnifying glass. Because if you do bookstores or Amazon, you're not going to get the magnifying glass. And Tracy, you already alluded to that would be really cool. So I really encourage you to go through the site, because then you get all the extras. And I'm Darci, Darcilang, darcilang.com. My name is spelled with an I, which makes it a little challenging sometimes to find me. And right there is, byproducts, of course, and my system, my amazing Sandra will send those to you.
I love it. I just thought of something I think I'm going to do.
Okay.
I like visual prompts. As I said before, I like quotes up on the wall on my computer. I put them on social media. I've always wanted a bracelet with just the right word. But I've never come up with just the right word, because each word is relevant to a different situation. I almost want to make a bracelet that says 90%.
Well, I can hook you up, Tracy. So get back to me offline and I can certainly help you with that. Yeah. Absolutely. It's just the reminder, right? That's why the magnifying glass is, if you do order books, sometimes people request extra, and I'm more than happy to send, because again, sometimes the tractor, the fridge, and the truck needs one, right? And that's what we need, is these are the bracelets, the magnifying glasses up that remind people, okay, I'm complaining. What is good? And you do that enough times in a row. I've missed one engagement in 27 years, Tracy. I always make it. I'm healthy, mentally, physically, spiritually. I feel fantastic. It works. I can't stress you enough. It has transformed my life to live this way. And that's not some Pollyanna motivational speaker. That's the truth. And that's what I want for people, is to live that beautiful, abundant life that you have.
Well, and I know too, thank you. As I've been preparing for this, I've been thinking about 90%, and it's changed me in just the last couple of days. And that's why I want that visual reminder. So thank you so much. I admire you. I admire your work, and keep on bringing Darcy Lang to the world. We need you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Thanks for being a light in the world. I don't underestimate the power that you have in doing what you really are making an impact. So don't downplay that. Don't humble that out. Just honor you for what you're doing for all these farmers as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You so much. And thank you guys for joining us. If you loved Darcy's interview as much as I did, like it, share it, so that other farmers get this amazing message. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Darcy.
Thank you, Tracy. Take care, everyone. Be well, be safe, be positive.
See you guys on the next episode. Bye.
You've been listening to Impact Farming. For more great episodes and articles designed to help you manage and grow your farming operation, head on over to farmmarketer.com. Don't forget to sign up while you're there. We will see you on the next episode.